Hey, Marvel Studios, check this out. I don't know what y'all got planned, but this is how I think you guys can make Scar work in the MCU. And well, first things first, do something about this man's hairline. I understand that there are plenty of warrior tribes on Earth whose hair looks like this, but this ain't it. This is what we want. So just fix that first. But beyond that, there's a lot of reconfiguring we got to do with his storyline because I mean it really didn't happen in the MCU the way it happened in the comics. Now, I'm gonna make this really short and simple, guys, but if you want a more detailed explanation of his backstory, I got a playlist called World War Hulks. It goes over his entire backstory, or at least everything you need to know to get caught up on the character. Go check that out. But for those of you guys who do not know, there was a story a while back called Planet Hulk, where the Hulk got sent to Sakaar, ended up marrying this woman named Kyra, having a kid, and then the ship that he got sent on exploded, pretty much blew up everybody in the Crown City, and the Hulk thought that it, killed his kid because his wife burned to death in his arms. He goes back to Earth, whole World War Hulk thing. Well, you find out Skaar didn't actually die and pretty much grew up fighting for his life every single day. And later in the story ended up inheriting this thing called the Old Power, which is pretty much the antithesis to the power cosmic. And then the Silver Surfer shows up, Skaar feeds the planet to Galactus, lands on Earth, whole bunch of stuff happens. Like Skaar wanting to kill his father because that's all he had ever heard of was stories of the World Breaker, a being so powerful that he could pretty much do anything he wanted. And in Skaar's mind, it's like, well, I mean, if the World Breaker was my dad, then why did he leave me on the planet? And why was I born in a lake of lava? And why did I pretty much get messed up every day of my life, get pretty much sold into slavery, and have to fight for my life every day of my life? So, bro's got some daddy issues. Now again, because none of that stuff happened the same way in the MCU, y'all gonna have to tweak it a little bit. And this is how I feel like you could. Now, regardless of the fact that we know that Hulk had to hook up with somebody to have Skaar, we do know for a fact that when Thor came, Hulk left Earth. Now this could be the beginning of Skaar's daddy issues. Because as far as we know, I mean, Hulk ain't been gone but what? 5-6 years, but we do know that time works differently on Sakaar. We learned that in Ragnarok, when Thor and Loki were fighting Hela in the portal, Loki got knocked out of the portal, and then maybe 6 or 7 seconds later, Thor got knocked out of the portal. But we learned that Loki had been there for weeks, maybe even months, before Thor even got there. And if a couple of seconds made that much of a difference in time, well, the Hulk's been gone for several years. And in this time period, this could have Skaar pretty much going through the same set of circumstances, or similar to the set of circumstances that he went through in the comics. Fighting for his life, people always trying to kill him getting the old power, all that good stuff. And while all that is going down, he could still have heard rumors about the Incredible Hulk, seeing as the Hulk was known worldwide. He was the champion of the planet. And it could be the exact same thing. Why would he leave me here to deal with all of this if he was so powerful? I hate him and I want to kill him. And this is where things start to take a turn, because in the comics, there was a point where Hulk did come back to Sakaar and fight Skaar. And I mean, Skaar tried to put in work, but I mean, it is the Hulk, so he was whooping his ass. Except in the comics, we find out that the Hulk never came back. It was the Hulk's wife, Kyra, making a facsimile of Hulk because she lived on through the planet. It's a little convoluted. Again, check out the playlist. Well, we can 100% make this scene actually Hulk in the MCU, since the Hulk does in fact go back to Sakaar in the MCU during the She-Hulk series. See, I'm of the notion that the Incredible Hulk has memories of all the atrocities and slavery and stuff going on Sakaar, so he went back to rectify that. And if we're going to give Skaar the same motivations in the MCU that he had in the comics, he hates all the things that are going on Sakaar because of his upbringing. And he just wants to kill everyone and everything. And well, this could be what Skaar is doing when the MCU Smart Hulk lands back on Skaar. And again, Hulk is known worldwide. So even if Skaar's never seen the Hulk, somebody's gonna say that that's the Hulk. He's gonna know that that's his father. And all of a sudden, all of that rage that he's had for everybody on Skaar is gonna be focused on his dad. And after Skaar finishes doing what he planned on doing, which is killing all those people who were basically trying to enslave him and kill him his whole life, he would turn that rage on his dad. But the Hulk, even if he did go back to Skaar to basically free everybody, stop the slavery and stuff, I'm 100% positive that he wasn't going back to kill everyone. So when he sees Skaar trying to do just that, he tries to interrupt him just like this in the comics, which would lead to this. And Skaar, pretty much being an angsty teen with daddy issues, not really gonna be listening to nothing that his father's trying to say. So Banner's gonna have to try to put the beat down on him. And I mean, say what you want about Smart Hulk, I still feel like he's strong enough to do that. And well, even if he isn't, it could lead to a glimpse of what I was talking about in another video where the Hulk comes back to the forefront. Like what we saw in the comics when Skaar first landed on Earth and actually met the Hulk. And the Hulk went world breaker. And you can easily make it work by reversing the order in which these things happen. You see, this moment here happens because when Hulk and Skaar were fighting, Hulk looked in Skaar's eyes and remembered his wife Kyra. He remembered the love they had and all that stuff, and he remembered her death, which then made him go world breaker. But in the MCU, you can just reverse those events. So that when Hulk and Skaar are fighting on planet Skaar, Skaar's beating up on Smart Hulk. Smart Hulk gets angry enough so that the Hulk persona takes back over his body and he starts to go world breaker and starts beating down on Skaar. He looks in his eyes and remembers Kyra and realizes that this is his son, calming him down enough to let Bruce Banner take back over the Hulk's body. With Banner back in control, this could then produce the same kind of dynamic that Hulk and Skaar had in the comics when they first landed on Earth. Except in reverse, where Banner would think that he would still have to fight. But since Skaar was already beating up on Smart Hulk and didn't actually start losing until the real Hulk came back out, he wouldn't want to fight the Smart Hulk again. He would want to fight the World Breaker, the version of Hulk that he had always heard stories of. Fighting Smart Hulk would be a bore, and I mean, he just really wouldn't want to do it. And probably try to continue killing everything. To which Banner could then do what he did in the comics and promise him a chance at taking out the World Breaker Hulk, because Banner knows that eventually he'll come back out if Skaar were to give up on his conquest of trying to kill everyone and come back to Earth with him. Because again, in the comics, that was Skaar's whole story arc for the most part, was Banner trying to teach him how to fight so that when World Breaker Hulk did show himself again, he would be ready. And as cocky a character as Skaar was in the comics, especially after he got the old power, that would be something he absolutely could not refuse. I mean, dude was so drunk on his own power that he thought he could beat Galactus. So if he had a chance to take out World Breaker Hulk, yeah, he would go along with Smart Hulk just for the chance to prove that he was stronger than his father. Because that's exactly what he did in the comics when it came to Bruce Banner. And if that's the route that he chooses, then it should end up just like it did in the comics, with Skaar going to face off against World Breaker Hulk. So Marvel Studios, just my opinion, it's an easy way to make his character work with all the changes when it comes to the Hulk and his storyline in the MCU. But what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. I'm Marshall T, and I'll catch y'all later.